Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Today we're taking you back to 1994 to a quiet, seemingly safe neighborhood.
Yeah, safe, peaceful, Castro Valley, California.
But behind those white picket fences, well, there's a dark secret that's about to come out.
It's the story of 14-year-old Jenny Lynn.
A bright, promising student
Absolute.
whose life was, tragically cut short.
It really was, and it really sent shockwaves through the community, and to this day it's unsolved.
And that's what we're going to look at today.
That's right.
We're going to examine the
The
evidence,
suspects.
the twists and turns that have, kept investigators baffled for decades,
Decades.
to see this case through their eyes.
Absolutely, yeah.
And maybe even spot some clues that they might have missed.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Exactly.
We've got police reports, witness statements, we've even got psychological profiles.
So like a real mountain of information here.
Yeah, a lot of information, and we're gonna trying to sift through all of it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And help you understand not just what happened, but why it matters.
Yeah, why it matters, even after all these years.
All these years, exactly.
So let's set the scene. It's May 27th, 1994.
Okay.
It's a Friday.
Yeah.
And Jenny's dad, John, is commuting home from work.
From work in San Francisco.
That's right, from San Francisco.
Long commute.
Yeah, he tries calling Jenny, but
Yeah.
there's no answer.
No answer.
He figures, she's out with the dog or busy with something else, right?
Yeah, typical Friday night, you figure she's out with friends, something.
Yeah, exactly. And he arrives home around 6:45
6:45 p.m.
and finds the house unusually quiet.
Unusually quiet.
You're on?
The TV's on, dinner's on the table.
Dinner's on the table.
But no Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found. And he notices, the dog is outside.
The dog's in its run.
In its run.
And the sliding door is unlocked.
Which is odd.
Yeah, that's odd because his wife, Maine, is, very careful.
Very, very careful about security.
So yeah, it's unusual. Unusual. And then he makes, a horrifying discovery.
Boom.
In the upstairs bathroom.
Okay.
He finds Jenny's body.
Oh my God.
She's been stabbed multiple times.
Multiple times.
Bound with duct tape.
Duct tape.
And her clothes are cut off.
Oh, that's awful.
It's a brutal scene.
Just brutal.
The police arrive, and what do they find?
Well, it's a puzzling crime scene. I've got to tell you that there's boot prints all over the backyard.
Okay.
But they're not clear enough to determine a shoe size.
Huh. Interesting.
And then there's this like botched break-in attempt.
Right.
Right. At the sliding door on the upstairs balcony.
Upstairs balcony. Okay.
It's like someone tried to pry it open but couldn't quite get it,
But wouldn't they have just entered through the dining room window?
Well, that's what's strange.
Well, that was broken right there in the dog run.
Yeah, the curtain was positioned. It's like someone was trying to conceal the break-in.
So they went through all that effort just to leave another, maybe even more obvious entry point.
Exactly.
Unless they want it to look like a break-in.
That's a good point.
Like they were trying to throw the investigation off the trail.
Throw 'em off, yeah.
Make it seem like it was random.
Right, exactly. When really it was targeted.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the dog. The dog didn't bark.
That's right, yeah. I mean, you'd think a dog would, raise the alarm.
If a stranger's breaking in, right?
Exactly, especially with the family not home.
Right.
Yeah, you'd think so.
So it almost seems like maybe the dog knew the intruder.
Very intruder, yeah.
It throws a wrench into the whole break-in narrative.
Yeah.
And then, nothing was stolen from the house.
Really?
And the autopsy later revealed no signs of sexual assault.
So really the motive was just murder?
It seems like it, yeah, but why?
But why? So where do the investigators go from here?
Right.
Do they uncover anything about Jenny's last day that could, Well, yeah. They try to piece together her movements.
Okay.
On that Friday.
Okay.
She came home from school on the bus, made some phone calls to friends.
Okay.
Chatted about watching a movie.
Minimal stack.
Totally normal, typical teenager stuff.
Yeah.
Everything seemed perfectly ordinary.
Okay.
Her last call ended around 5:30 p.m.
5:30, so just an hour.
About an hour before John found her.
So they had a pretty narrow window to work with.
Very narrow window.
I imagine they looked closely at everyone who might, had contact with Jenny.
Of course, yeah. They questioned family members, friends, classmates.
Okay.
Anyone who might have seen her or spoken to her that day.
Okay, makes sense.
Her sister was out of town.
Yeah.
With her boyfriend.
Okay.
And both parents passed polygraph tests.
But then John mentions this strange encounter that he had a
Okay.
couple of weeks before the murder.
Oh, wow.
So what happened?
He was leaving the BART station in San Francisco
Okay.
when a man approached him claiming that he had kidnapped Jenny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's chilling.
It's really chilling.
Did he report it to the police?
He did, yeah. And he even drove back to try to find the man, but he was gone.
Gone.
So the police ended up creating a composite sketch
Okay.
of this, mystery man.
Right.
But they weren't sure if it was actually connected to Jenny's murder.
Or just a horrible coincidence.
Horrible coincidence, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got two potential leads.
Yeah, the mysterious man from BART
Right,
and this possible staging of the break-in.
right. You got to wonder, are we dealing with one suspect or two?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And then on top of that, they brought in the FBI
Oh, wow.
to analyze the duct tape
Okay.
and develop a psychological profile.
Of the killer.
And the profile suggested that the killer might be familiar with the neighborhood
Familiar with the neighborhood. Okay.
and could even appear concerned after the murder.
Concern, like trying to blend in.
Blend in, exactly.
Yeah, like they were just a worried neighbor.
Precisely. Yeah. It's a tactic that some criminals use
Right.
to avoid suspicion.
Yeah.
And, maybe even gather more information.
That's unsettling.
Very unsettling.
I think that someone capable of such brutality could be,
Yeah, like hiding in plain sight.
hiding in plain sight, pretending to care.
Exactly.
It's no wonder this case gripped the entire community.
Oh, yeah. Definitely shook people's sense of safety, for sure.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
media was covering it extensively.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one journalist who wrote about how the Lynn family's American dream
Okay.
had been shattered. And it really resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah, because it kind of makes you question the vulnerability, even in these safe places.
Right. Exactly.
So as the investigation continued,
Mhm.
did the police manage to narrow down their focus to any specific suspects?
Well, a couple months into the investigation, a potential suspect emerged.
Okay.
A 22-year-old neighbor,
A name.
Doug.
Doug. Okay.
And his father owned a surgical instrument sharpening business.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that made Doug a person of interest?
His alibi regarding his girlfriend's whereabouts was, well, a bit shaky.
Okay.
And he'd moved out of his parents' home shortly after the murder,
Oh, wow.
only to move back in later.
Ah.
So this behavior kind of, aligned with the FBI's profile,
Hmm.
maybe someone familiar with the area, trying to manage, their appearance,
Yeah.
trying to manage how they looked,
So he was definitely on their radar.
He was on the radar.
But did they have enough to bring him in?
Well, they were building a case, but then a new lead emerged,
Oh.
this time from Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah, a man named Sebastian Shaw
That's your shock. Okay.
was found sleeping in a stolen car.
In a stolen car.
Yeah, with a disturbing collection of items.
Okay.
Duct tape, weapons, books on, unsettling topics. It seemed like they might have finally found their guy.
I bet they were pretty hopeful about this.
Very hopeful.
This could be the break they needed.
The break, yeah.
Yeah.
But then the FBI analysis came back.
Oh.
And the duct tape from the stolen car didn't match the tape used on Jenny.
Another dead end.
Another dead end.
Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. So they create a detailed questionnaire
Okay.
asking residents, about their activities, their observations.
Observations on the day of the murder.
Yeah, they distributed it throughout Castro Valley.
Hoping to jog someone's memory, maybe?
Jog their memory, exactly, or uncover a detail that, was overlooked.
Casting a wide net, right.
Wide net, exactly.
And it worked?
Well, one neighbor's response, you could say, blew the case wide open.
Oh.
They claim to have seen something suspicious
Okay.
on the day of the murder, but they didn't come forward right away.
Ah, that's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Why would they wait?
Why wait?
What did they see?
That's what we're about to find out
Oh, okay.
in the next part of our deep dive.
All right.
It's a detail that, it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about this case.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, that's a good one.
Okay, we'll be right back. So we ended part one with a bombshell, really.
Yeah, quite a cliffhanger.
A neighbor claims to have seen something suspicious the day of Jenny's murder, but they didn't come forward until much later.
Right, it's like they were carrying this secret around,
Yeah.
unsure of its significance
Right.
until the FBI questionnaire kind of, brought it all back.
Makes you think, what could have been different, if they'd spoken up sooner?
It's impossible to know, for sure.
Right.
But it definitely adds another layer of complexity to this case.
So what did this neighbor actually see?
Okay, so they reported seeing a young man
Okay.
lurking near the Lynn's house on May 27th.
Okay. Lurking.
Yeah, they described him as a white male,
Okay.
late teens, early 20s, about
Okay.
5'10", slender build.
That's a pretty detailed description.
It is, yeah.
Did it match any of the existing leads?
Interestingly, it didn't match the composite sketch
Ah.
of the man John Lynn encountered at the BART station.
So now we have two potential suspects,
Two potential suspects.
both seemingly unconnected?
Unconnected, yeah.
It's like the investigation is splitting into two separate paths now,
Two paths.
each with its own set of mysteries.
Mysteries for sure.
Did the neighbor recognize this young man?
Well, they said they initially dismissed the sighting as, insignificant.
Right.
Thinking he might have been a friend of Jenny's.
A friend.
Yeah, it wasn't until they received the FBI questionnaire
Months later.
yeah, that the memory resurfaced and took on a more sinister meaning.
That must have been chilling.
Chilling, yeah, to suddenly think that they might have seen Jenny's killer.
Did they offer any explanation for why they didn't come forward sooner?
According to their statement, they just felt
Okay,
uncertain about the relevance of what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were afraid of being wrong or just didn't want to get involved,
I mean, it's understandable,
It is.
especially in a case as high profile as this one.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
People can be hesitant to insert themselves into a situation that feels so overwhelming.
But it highlights how crucial every piece of information can be
Absolutely.
in an investigation like this.
Every little detail.
Did the police have any luck identifying this young man?
They showed the neighbor a yearbook
Okay.
from Canyon Middle School, hoping they might recognize someone,
Mm-hmm.
but no luck.
No luck.
No, the trail went cold again.
It's like taking one step forward and then two steps back.
2 steps back.
It must have been incredibly frustrating for the investigators,
For sure it was.
to have this potentially valuable lead.
Right. Valuable lead fizzles out.
And remember, they still haven't found the murder weapon.
No murder weapon.
So they were hoping that maybe this new witness would,
Would point them in the right direction?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
So what happened next? Did the police pursue any other lines of inquiry?
5 years after Jenny's murder,
5 years.
5 years, 1999,
Okay.
they received an anonymous letter.
Okay.
The writer claimed to know who killed Jenny
Oh, wow.
and pointed the finger at a group of teenagers
Oh, okay.
who lived in the neighborhood at the time.
An anonymous tip that actually, names names.
Names, that's right.
That sounds promising.
It does.
Did the police investigate this claim?
Absolutely. They tracked down every individual named in the letter, questioned them extensively.
Okay.
They were thorough, but they couldn't find any evidence.
Linking these teenagers to the crime.
That's right. No evidence.
So another bad end.
Another bad end, yeah.
But it's strange that someone would, take the time to write this letter
It is.
and then remain anonymous.
Remain anonymous. It's a head scratcher.
What do you make of that?
Well, maybe it was someone seeking attention,
Right.
or perhaps they had genuine information but were too afraid to come forward, reveal their identity.
Yeah.
To this day, the letter writer's motivation remains a mystery.
It's just another layer of intrigue
Lots of intrigue.
to this already puzzling case.
Puzzling case.
It seems like there were all these potential leads,
Yeah, these glimpses into what might have happened.
but nothing concrete ever emerged.
Nothing concrete.
Did the investigation ever regain momentum after that?
There was a period of renewed interest in 2003
Okay.
when the case received more media attention.
Mm-hmm.
And this prompted the police to kind of, re-examine the evidence, re-interview witnesses.
Right.
They even considered utilizing new DNA technology
Oh, okay.
that wasn't available back in 1994.
Right. Yeah, forensic science has advanced so much over the years.
It really has.
Did the DNA testing provide any new insights?
Unfortunately, it didn't. The samples were too degraded.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't generate a usable DNA profile.
So another setback.
Setback for the investigator.
Lenny's family, yeah.
And, of course, for Jenny's family.
Who are desperately seeking answers.
Seeking answers, yeah.
It's heartbreaking to think about how much time has passed
I know.
and how little progress has been made.
It's tough.
It must be incredibly difficult for her family to live with this uncertainty.
The not knowing.
The not knowing, yeah.
The lack of closure.
It can be agonizing.
agonizing. But, it's important to remember that even cold cases can be solved.
That's true, yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is one new piece of evidence,
Right.
one person coming forward
With the missing link.
with that missing link. Exactly.
We've seen it happen,
We
in
had.
other cases where years, even decades have passed.
Decades have passed, yeah.
So where does the investigation stand today?
Right.
Is there still hope that Jenny Lynn's murder will be solved?
That's what we'll delve into. Okay. In the final part of our deep dive,
All right.
we'll explore the current status of the investigation,
Okay.
the lingering questions
Right.
that remain unanswered,
Yeah.
and the possibilities for finally bringing Jenny's killer to justice.
We've uncovered so many twists and turns
Oh, Randy.
in Jenny Lynn's case.
Yeah.
And yet here we are,
Decades
later, and we're still searching for answers.
Still searching.
Makes you wonder if we'll ever,
If we'll ever truly know.
truly know what happened that day.
It's a question that's haunted investigators.
Yeah.
The community, of course, Jeannie's
For
fans.
all these years.
All these years, yeah.
So where does the investigation stand today?
Right.
Is there still, active work being done?
So the case remains open, but, active is... It's a tricky word.
Yeah.
The Alameda County Sheriff's Office still has detectives assigned to it,
Okay.
but they're not working on it full time.
Okay. They're not.
And they follow up on any new leads,
Right.
but those are, few and far between these days.
What about the original suspects?
Right.
Doug, the neighbor, or Sebastian Shaw, the man from Oregon?
Yeah.
Have they ever been completely ruled out?
Officially, no one has been definitively ruled out,
Okay.
but without any concrete evidence, linking them to the crime,
Right.
it's been impossible to make an arrest.
Right.
It's frustrating for everyone.
It must be so difficult for Jenny's family
I can't imagine.
to live with that uncertainty,
Yeah.
knowing that her killer might still be out there,
Could be.
potentially even living among them.
Yeah, that's a heavy burden to carry.
It is.
But, despite the lack of a definitive answer,
Yeah.
the Lynn family hasn't given up hope.
Okay.
They've channeled their grief and frustration
Oh,
into action,
into action.
establishing the Jenny Lynn Foundation.
Okay, and what does that do?
It keeps her memory alive and advocates for other families
Right.
of, unsolved homicide victims.
It's inspiring
It is.
to see their resilience,
It is.
in the face of such a tragedy.
It is.
Their dedication to finding answers.
Yeah, and supporting others
And supporting
who are
others.
going through similar ordeals.
It's remarkable.
It really is.
But realistically, what are the chances of this case ever being solved?
Yeah.
After all this time?
Right. What would it take to get a break?
Yeah, after all these years.
It's hard to say for certain,
Right.
Sometimes all it takes is one person coming forward
One person.
with the right piece of information.
Yeah, maybe someone who, remembers something they saw
Exactly.
or heard that day.
Yeah, but dismissed it as unimportant.
Unimportant.
Yeah. Or maybe, someone who knows a killer
Yeah.
and finally decides to break their silence.
It's easy to get lost in the big picture.
Yeah, the complex timelines.
Yeah, all the forensic evidence.
Right?
But sometimes it's the small details that can,
All details, yeah.
crack a case wide open.
Exactly. A seemingly insignificant observation, a forgotten conversation,
Right.
a misplaced object.
Yeah.
Any of these could hold the key
To unraveling this
to
mystery.
unraveling the mystery, yeah.
Do you think advancements in DNA technology offer any hope for Jenny's case?
Absolutely, yeah.
We've seen cold cases solved after decades, thanks to new forensic techniques.
We have DNA technology is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
With more advanced methods, it might be possible to reanalyze the evidence
Okay.
from Jenny's case and finally obtain a usable DNA profile.
That would be a game changer.
It would be.
It could potentially, lead to identifying the killer.
Right.
Bring some much needed closure to this case.
A much needed closure.
And it would serve as a powerful reminder, that no matter how much time has passed, that
Yeah.
the pursuit of justice never really ends.
Never truly ends. Yeah.
So for anyone listening who might have any information, about Jenny Lynn's murder,
Yeah.
no matter how, small or insignificant it might seem,
Yeah, please come forward.
please contact the Alameda County Sheriff's Office.
You could hold the key
You could.
to solving this, decades-old mystery
Yeah.
and bringing peace to a family.
Who has endured far too much pain.
Far too much.
It's never too late to come forward.
Never too late.
Even the smallest detail could be the missing piece of the puzzle.
That's right.
And for Jenny's family,
Okay.
and for the community.
That has been haunted by this
Haunted by this crime.
for so long.
Any bit of, progress towards justice would be invaluable.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been both fascinating and heartbreaking.
It has.
It's a story that reminds us that even in, seemingly safe neighborhoods,
Yeah,
darkness can lurk.
it can.
But it also highlights the importance of perseverance,
The power community.
the unwavering love of a family,
Absolutely.
determined to find answers.
Determined to find answers.
We may never know for certain what happened to Jenny Lynn,
That's right.
but her story continues to resonate with us today.
It does.
It challenges us to remain vigilant,
Vigilant.
to speak up when we see something wrong,
Yeah.
and to never give up hope
Never give up hope.
in the face of adversity.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening.